Great day, attractive thinkers and visionaries around the world. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. This is where we support you with mental healing, mental strength, and mindset maintenance on your entrepreneurial journey, whether it be to write your book or launch your new business idea. We have mental tools to support you in staying the course and seeing your dreams, ideas, and desires go from just an idea to a full manifestation whereas you're living it. Welcome, my co host, Tichet Bradshaw, to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. We made it through another week, through another holiday. We get to do what we've never done, go where we've never gone, and have all that we deserve to have in this lifetime. It's a great day to be
It
alive.
is a fantastic and amazing day to be alive. Today, we're going to talk about maximizing the benefits of your journey. Too often, we enter into a break, some form of heartbreak, or a defining moment that transforms and changes and disrupts the current life that we're living. And the focus becomes, how do I get out? I just want to get out. I just want this to be over. I can't wait to get out. And in the process of having that thought process and that mindset, we're missing the heart of the lessons and the blessings and the gems that we are to capture while we're in that experience. I always share with the attractive thinker generation to shed that the best time to capture the gems, the clarity, the answers, the solutions, the next steps, the lesson and the blessing is when you're in the defining moment, when you're in the heart of the heartbreak, when you're feeling the pain, because it becomes difficult to capture those ideal resources when we're out of that energy, when it's over, when the defining moment is over, when you come out of the heartbreak and you're on the other side of things. That energy is totally different from the energy, the mindset, the thought processes, the feelings that we're in when we are experiencing the heartbreak, because your senses have been heightened. When you're in the heart of pain or disappointment or frustration or a heartbreak or a defining moment and your world has been turned upside down, all of your senses are heightened. You can see things that you didn't see before. You hear things that you never heard before. You feel emotions that you've never experienced before. Although it's painful, that is an opportune time to access what was never accessible. When we're in the middle of a heartbreak, the heart is now accessible. The treasures of your heart are now accessible. You have answers now that are accessible that weren't accessible before because the heart was closed. It wasn't accessible. Now that the heart is open, the gems are all over the floor. The love, joy, and peace and the hope are all now accessible. The guilt, the shame, the things that you felt like were holding you back, but you couldn't put your hand on it. Now you can see things for what they really are. And instead of trying to run so that we can exit and escape this breaking, we now have attractive thinker tools that support us in capturing the gems because we're going to need them going forward. Tashet, talk to us today about maximizing the benefits of the journey.
Absolutely. Dr. Tony, one of the reasons why we want to maximize the benefits of our journey is so that we can create greatness, right? We want to be able to learn from each and every one of our experiences, pull everything that we can out of our experiences. Like you said, it's easier to pull from that energy while you're in the midst of the defining moment than to look back in hindsight 2020. Because sometimes when you look back hindsight 2020, it gives you a perspective that's different than you were in the defining moment.
Mm-hmm.
In the defining moment, you were missing a little bit of clarity, right? But when you come back, hindsight 2020, Once that clarity is added, you look back and you see that it was different. The way that you view a thing should change when you have clarity, right? So when we say maximize your benefits of your journey, we're telling you to get all you can get out of this lifetime, out of your present moment, right? Because this is a gift, this is a privilege and an honor to be in these physical human bodies that allows us to maneuver as creators through the created. It allows us to literally have the Spirit of God within us, and we're able to maneuver through this life and get both a spiritual and a physical experience, which allows us to have a whole full experience as a human being with God's Spirit within us. So to maximize that, we have to know who we are. We have to really assess and get to know who we are. What is your spirit like? What does your spirit like? Outside of what you learn, a lot of times growing up, Dr. Toni, we tend to learn limitations. We learn fear. A lot of times, through the use of people saying, that's embarrassing. You try not to like that kind of clothing. So you grow up believing that you want this type of clothing because of that one statement. How many statements in our life has been controlling us for decades? How many statements did someone make in their own limited view made us take on a limitation that says, oh, we can't wear this at that age, or we can't skate at this age, or we can't dance at this age. And then Dr. Toni, you watch those shows that show people breaking all of those regulations wide open. You see 80-year-olds skating and doing acrobats and things like that typically you wouldn't think she could do, right? But these are people who decide to live outside of the box, which is the standard way of living, being, thinking. It's that standard, which means in the society that we live in, a standard has been created. The standard is how we dress. The standard is how we live, what type of house we live in, what type of car we drive, what type of experiences we have. Like there's some standard way of what kind of job we have, right? Um, there's a standard, which means they took a collective of people and said, well, the greater of this people like this, so this is what the standard is. But then you over here, you're different. And when you are in a people pleasing mode, you can't dare to be different. So
Mm.
this is why we have to break out of people pleasing mode so that we can dare to be different and do something different so that you can actually maximize your moments, maximize your present moments by allowing yourself to be free enough to go past the limitations. So when you have people that are 80, 90 years old doing acrobats, and she started in her 70s, she had to step out the standard way of thinking in order to maximize as much as she can from her journey. Meaning she wasn't going to let something as simple as an age stop her from being able to achieve the things that she's always wanted to achieve. She didn't believe in the too late ministry. You know what I mean? You know that it's too late for you to go to college, it's too late for you to build a business, it's too late for love, you're never too late. The moment you decide to do it, you right on time. If you have the ability to use your hands, your legs, your feet, and you have breath in your body, even if you don't have the ability to use your hands, legs, and feet, but you have breath in your body, you still have the ability to create a life that is enjoyable and peaceful and meaningful. That's the thing, too, Dr. Toni. In order to maximize our journey, the benefits from our journey, we have to be able to maximize the present moment. We have to have the ability to see what the present moment is offering us. And when you look in the past, you only look in the past for the lessons and the blessings. You don't carry the pain. In the present moment, we are just sitting here talking. For instance, Dr. Toni, you and I are on camera, and we're talking to ourselves and the people that are watching. We are not being attacked in this moment. We are not being criticized in this moment. There's nothing in this moment but power. In order to bring things into this moment, you bring it by thought, you
Mm.
bring it by perception. So the only way you and I in this moment could feel trouble from any time frame, past or present, is if we brought it in by thought, by perception. So if majority of our journey is perception, in order to maximize the benefit of that journey, you have to make sure you're going through life with the proper perception, with the proper way of thinking concerning your situation, concerning your past. And this is why we say you take the lessons and the blessings, you leave the pain behind. Um, Knowing who you are helps you to understand what part you leave behind. It helps you to understand what part of your past do you never bring with you again. What part of your past do you make a healing with? What part of your past? Because some of us, we may have suppressed some of our traumas, or some of our traumas might have been in our DNA that we have to break free from, right? Because there's a lot of times, a lot of visionaries who manage to break free from some of our past traumas. In order for us to get the benefit of the journey, we have to learn how to seek. And then we learn how to turn whatever it is we went into good, into great, right? So if you had a troubling past, and you're talking about your past as if it started yesterday, you bought and you start crying, you bought in the pain, right? If you talk about your past and you take the lesson that you got from it and all of the benefits of it, and you allow yourself to use what you have gone through to bless another, or use it as a stepping stool to get to another level, when you allow yourself to utilize your past that gave you the maximum amount of benefits, that allowed you to enjoy your present moment because you went through some things, that's a whole other way of being. So when we say maximize the benefits of your journey, we're saying, first of all, notice that you are on a journey, right? And once you notice that you are on a journey, you have to make the decision that I want this journey to be great. Even if you didn't feel like it was great before, you say, this day, start today, that my journey will be made great. And that everything that I went through was not for nothing. Everything that I went through will allow me to apply a lesson or a blessing to a future blessing, to a future opportunity in a now blessing right now type of way. Um, in order to maximize your journey, you have to appreciate your now, which means you have to bring yourself into the mindset of the now, which can come from letting go of the past, unless what the past brought applies to you now. And also, Dr. Toni, when you have a past that applies to you now, it's like, for instance, you date somebody and that person is abusive, but that person didn't start out abusive. That person started out nice. That person started out different kind of way. Now there was hidden flags. There were flags, red flags. And those red flags we kind of made excuses for. Well, what happened is once you got out of that relationship turned abusive. You got out of that relationship. When you then go and assess what that relationship was, you start seeing how it started and how it ended. So then it creates an awareness. It increases your discernment now because you're looking for that same thing. You can only observe. You can only observe the things that's going on in life by your experiences, by your perception, right? And sometimes we make a decision. This is this, that is that, based on our perception. So when you look at people and you see they have the habits of the person you just got finished dealing with, because you assess that relationship, when you're looking at this person, you say, oh, this is how it started out. I'm not going to ignore that red flag this time. I'm not. That's a benefit because you're telling yourself, I'm not going to go through this again. I'm not going to allow myself to keep being put in this situation. And the thing that I needed was the proper perception and clarity to know not to ignore any more red flags, to take everything head on, to take things head on, to face life head on, right? So that I can be conscious and aware of what I need in my life, who I need in my life, and who can access my life. Because everybody should be able to access you. And if you have that discernment level and you're weeding out the weeds through life, you start to maximize your present moment because of your past. You start to maximize because you start removing people who does not match the light in your life. You start removing the darkness all because of one relationship. You start removing all the darkness from your life. So this is how something bad can turn into a benefit and turn into being good and help you maximize your journey. And you use it as a benefit of getting rid of all of the dark because that relationship hurt so bad it caused you to come into self-realization. It caused you to increase in consciousness, and it allowed you to say, okay, I need to get the dark out of my life. I'm in so much pain. I need to get the dark out of my life. I need to just be by myself and get to know me, and then reestablish a relationship with myself, reestablish that connection with myself because of that one relationship. This, and now you are um elevated in consciousness. You're feeling high vibrational. You're walking around, you're feeling great. You got good relationships because that one pain that you went through caused you to come into self realization. This is how you maximize the benefit of your journey, Dr. Tony, by turning what went on in your life, your past, into greatness. Back to you.
My God, Tichet. You know, I was taking notes in my Attractive Thinker notebook, as I always suggest that attractive thinkers and visionaries do when you're listening to these episodes of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance because we're dropping gems to capture. That's one of the benefits of maximizing these lessons and blessings on your journey. When we capture, one of the benefits of maximizing is you're not wasting anything. You want to get to a point in your life whereas if it has to hurt, it has to count. We don't just go through pain for pain's sake. We don't just go through pain and we come out and talk about how bad it hurt. What did we get from? What did it produce? What did we give birth to as a result of that pain? And today we're talking about maximizing the benefits of the journey. There are benefits that come with our journey. A lot of times, if we're focused on trying to come out of the journey, out of the process, out of the defining moment or the heartbreak, we're missing the benefits. There's a scripture that talks about when they came out with great substance. We want to come out, we don't want to come out empty handed. If we have to go through this journey, if we have to go this route, if we have to experience this heartbreak, we want to come out full. We want to come out with great substance, something that not only I have that I can share with others, but something that will enhance my life as well because it happened to me. When we talk about maximizing the benefit of the journey, there is a benefit to experiencing a journey because a lot of people don't want to go through the journey, let alone learn something from it, and then take what they learned, enhance their lives with it, make the shifts and changes that they need to make, and then be willing and available to be an answer to others that they're going to meet along the way, as they continue to journey on. There are benefits to that because Tichet, how many times I can speak for myself in my life that in our life, how many times in our lives we go through life looking for something, trying to acquire something outside of ourselves, not understanding that we don't have to reach outside of ourselves for anything. The thing that we're looking for is already weaved into our life experience. That means I don't have to experience a heartbreak or a defining moment and then after that come out still looking for my purpose, still looking for what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, still looking for the same answers to the questions that I had prior to the heartbreak. If we zero in on what we are experiencing in the current moment, we can get the answers that we're looking for through the things that we go through. We can get the answers that we're looking for through the things that we overcome. We can get the answers that we're looking for through the things that break our heart. See, heartbreak doesn't come with a good feel energy attached to it. It doesn't sound like something we would want to embrace or willfully accept in our lives or go through. But heartbreak, when something breaks, something is released. When something breaks, something is exposed. When something breaks, something is now accessible, it's vulnerable, it's open, it's accessible to the elements, to any and everybody, to any and everything. When the heart breaks, because it has this negative connotation attached to it, we don't look for anything good. We don't expect anything good to come from it. We don't feel good about it. And all of those perceptions, all of those perceptions have to shift in order for us to maximize a benefit from the journey. There are foundational pieces, foundational mental aspects of the journey that have to be in place first before we can maximize a benefit or recognize a benefit or accept the fact that the journey wasn't created to destroy you. Uh, accept the fact that there are things that you've discovered about yourself that you didn't know prior to the heartbreak. Maximizing the benefit. That's why we talk about the resources in the Attractive Thinker book on Amazon. And if you don't have your copy, I encourage you right now to run on over to Amazon and grab your copy, because there are mental prerequisites that have to be in place in order for you to extract the good and the benefit and maximize that from your journey. How are you going to look for the good in the journey if you don't know that there's any good to be looked for or found or sought or acquired? If your perception of the journey is it's hard, it's painful, I'm tired, I'm crying all the time, I'm depressed, I'm sad, nothing good has come, how could anything good come from this? Where are you going to find the energy to find the good? What tools are you going to use to shift your perception so that your perception is now off of what is disempowering you and now on what is empowering you? When we tell our story, Tichet, you said so many things that sparked interest, and I wrote down some points that I wanted to pull out and ponder, because we always want attractive thinkers and visionaries to get practical application of these messages so that they can apply them to their current lives. When we talk about maximizing the benefit of the journey, these attractive thinker prerequisites have to be in place, or you're thinking from a thought process of being broken, of something's being wrong with you, of you being unworthy. You're thinking from a process of unworthiness, undeservedness, the pain. You're consumed and overwhelmed and overshadowed with the pain that you can't even see that you're in it to win it. How about that? You can be so consumed with pain. It's possible to be so consumed with how bad this hurts that you're not looking around in this strange land that you found yourself in and looking for the answers that you had been asking about a few weeks ago. prior to the break. And I think, Tisha, we've all experienced talking about something in a certain way a few weeks before the break, talking about something that you didn't really have any thought put into it as if it was something, grand. You were just randomly talking like, I'm working on this goal that I have in this dream. Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I'm really excited because I think I'm closer than I used to be to this idea, and I'm ready to take action on, and then bam, a defining moment, a heartbreak, something caught you on the blind side, and you really didn't put any a lot of emphasis on what you were talking about. You were just sharing your heart and your dream randomly, casually, not a lot of passion and drive into it. You were just talking, and then bam, out of the blue, your world was turned upside down. And because you're overwhelmed with the pain, you don't have the strength to look back and say, what was I doing prior to this defining moment, prior to this heartbreak? What was I talking about? Who was I with? What was I working on? What was I excited about? That's a gem. That's how you maximize the benefit of the journey, because you don't let it just slip through your hands and assume that this is just life. This happened because it's just life. If you do that, then you're missing what you could have captured in that defining moment. You go back and you say, what was I working on? What was I talking about prior to this happening? And then when you realize what you were working on and what you were talking about and what you were excited about, once you muster the courage, you go back and you get that and you put more emphasis on it. You put your heart and soul into it because it's something there. It's something to that idea that you had. That defining moment could have happened for many reasons, and we give meaning to everything. So only you, attractive thinker and visionary, can give a meaning to your own experiences. What did it mean for you to have to experience that? What did you learn? What became more clear? What answers did you get that you didn't have before? What are you aware of now that you're not aware of before? This is how you maximize the benefits of the journey. The journey has benefits. Listen, when you go throughout your life and you encounter certain experiences in life, when the rubber meets the road, that we say, you automatically want people around you of great substance. They only get great substance because of what they've been through and what they've overcome, and the lessons and blessings they've captured in the gems along the way from their experiences. They didn't just have pain and not make it count. They were looking for something great that they had now had access to that they didn't have access to prior to the breaking. So when you're going through something in life and your back is against the wall and the rubber has met the road, would you prefer to have people around you who have maximized the benefits of their journey, or people who didn't even know that they were on a journey, was just going through stuff, didn't even know they were on a journey, or they come out of these excruciating experiences and they come out empty-handed. They come out still wondering, well, what's the clarity on this, or what's my purpose on this, or where should I go, what's the next step, or how do I overcome this or that or the other, or what's the answer to this concerning my health or this relationship, or how do I sell my products, how do I launch my business idea and profit from it. You don't want to go through something and then come out still wandering. The way you maximize the benefit of your journey, you first accept the fact that you're on a journey. You have to accept the fact that if you have to experience it, there must be some good that you can get from it. There's nothing that we can experience in life to share, and there's nothing for us to get from it. There's always something that we can get from everything, because God is in everything. And this is the growth mindset. This is how you think when you are committed to growing. You don't listen. There are two things happening in all of our experiences. You mentioned a minute ago, to shed how light came out of darkness. The two things that are happening are, there's something happening on the physical plane, and there's something also simultaneously happening on the spiritual plane. We have the power of focus. We have the ability to focus. We have the power of perception. We have the power to shift. We can shift our focus and shift our perception and give our experiences a meaning that is empowering versus disempowering, as if something is happening to us versus happening through us or for us. Think about that. So, the two things that are happening simultaneously, you have a choice. You can focus on the darkness, or you can focus on the light. You can focus on what broke, or you can focus on what you discovered through the breaking. What you discovered after it broke, what spilled out after it broke, what did you capture, what did you now have access to after it broke. When we tell our stories, and I talk about this, and we go through resources about this in the Attractive Thinker book, when we tell our stories, are we telling them in an empowering way or a disempowering way? I can guarantee you this: you don't have to inform people of the darkness that you walk through. That's evident. It's we already see it. It's I don't know, it's something about us. We're conditioned to gravitate to the dark side of things. We're always conditioned to see the worst in things. But you have to inform people of the light. When you go through something, you don't have to walk around telling people what you're going through. They can see that you went through something. you know they know that you had a loss, or they know that something didn't work out, or they know that the contract fell through. But the light, I think to shed the light is gives us customized experiences. So we can't assume what the light was for other people, just because we know what they went through. We have to wait until they're healthy enough to share the light that they got from that experience. Because us being human, when we enter into a heartbreak or defining moment, and we go through experiences on our journey, our first response is to highlight and focus on the pain. Every time you talk to somebody, you're telling them the worst of the story, the worst of the journey. And it hurt, and I had to climb 10 mountains, and I broke my leg, and my toe fell off, and I didn't have anything to patch it up, and this and that and the other. And then I didn't have any food, and I ran out of this and that and the other, and I ended up by myself. I couldn't find nobody on the left or the right. And we're all sitting on the edge of our seats waiting for the punchline, waiting for, where is the break in the story? Where is the good in this? What did you get from this? How did this enhance your life? How did it change your life? How did it give you the tools you needed to launch you forward? That's what we're looking for as attractive thinkers, because that's what helps us to overcome in our own journeys. Helps us to listen, when you begin to share the benefits that you maximized in your journey, you're going to compel other people, other attractive thinkers and visionaries, to go back in their journey and get something. Find the good, find something that you can use to launch your life forward. When we talk about maximizing the benefits of the journey, number one, you want to embrace the fact that you are on a journey, and that the journey is not intended or designed to destroy you, but to elevate you, to develop, to show you what you're made of, to bring the best of you out, so that you can accomplish those goals that you have for your life. Because it's not about acquiring something to accomplish something, it's about becoming someone to accomplish something. Tishet, give us some final comments on this topic of maximizing the benefit of the journey, and share with our audience how they can get in touch with you, the visual encourager.
Absolutely. You shared some really powerful things about knowing that we're on a journey first and foremost, because a lot of times we mindlessly go through life and take everything for granted.
Mm-hmm.
We take our journey for granted. It is possible to mistake the light for darkness. When you look at some people's situation, you might think that's a dark space, but
Mm-hmm.
really it was part of the light. It was part of the story. The light and the dark was just as important on your journey. Um, it was just as important, right? Because a lot of times we want to tell everybody the light, or we want to tell everybody the dark, but we don't give them both sides. Like you said, visionaries, we take the gems from our journey and we share both. We share what we get out of it. The the thing that I would like to leave for the attractive thinkers is to understand that you have the ability to create a journey that is meaningful, that is purposeful, one that is vibrant, where you feel alive, where you're aware of yourself, aware of your surrounding, aware of everyone that you are interacting with. Knowing that on this journey you are in charge of your currency, which is time, energy, and money. On this journey, you can get so much more out of your experiences if you pay attention and if you learn how to assess everything around you, to not to judge it, but to understand it, so that going forward, if this was not a good fit for you, then you don't make that decision over and over again. We're here to tell you that you do not have to be miserable on your journey. You do not have to be unhappy. There is an answer if you are willing to seek. The making a decision to seek is the first powerful decision you can make when you are having a defining moment. Making a decision to not give up and to take whatever this hard thing is and say, I'm gonna get something out of this. I'm gonna find something, some way to make this thing powerful because I cried too hard. You know, my heart was hurting. I went through so much that I got to allow the other side of pain, which is joy, to come through. Because remember, universal laws, where there's one side, there's also the other, right? Where there's pain, if you look hard enough, you may find joy. They appear at the same time. It's what you focus on that makes us determine whether something is joyful or not. It's your perception that determines whether something is good or not. So a lot of times we think something is bad. In actuality, that situation you thought was bad may have actually been good for you. The one thing you might have been regretting that you did might have actually been good for you. We don't know what it will lead to, but one thing we can try and do is make sure that whatever it leads to, it's going to lead to something meaningful. And that means I'm going to take whatever I have, whatever I can give, whatever I can learn, I'm going to take it and I'm going to make it into something great, because staying still, stuck and stagnant is not an option. And so with each and every moment, you make the decision to build, to take every moment that you have, understand that those moments are yours to make, to create. And it's sometimes, Dr. Toni, going throughout the day, we don't really, well, at least I didn't really take advantage of the moments I was given. I was just getting through the day. When I was in a defining moment, I was just getting through the day. I was just sleep, wake up, eat, cry some more, go back to sleep, cry some more, watch something that made me cry more, listen to something that stroked the pain, and then went back to sleep. And it's like I feel like for a couple years I slept my life away because I didn't want to face reality. So facing reality is one of the ways you can get to the benefit, because you can't hide from your lessons and your blessings. You got to allow yourself to face reality. That takes courage. And believe it or not, once you face reality and you get the proper perspective about that situation, and you get that clarity, it actually helps build confidence. That confidence gives you an energy to move forward, to say, okay, I'm not doing that again. I'm not making that decision. So you make a different decision and create a whole new path. So instead of going, if you find yourself going around in a circle and creating the same things over and over, the same situation over and over and over again, I'm telling you, this time, get off at the exit. You've been at this mountain long enough, right? Get
Mm-hmm.
off at the exit. How do you get off at the exit? You have to make a decision that when you get to the point where it look like it's starting again, get off, veer off, and make a different decision. Go in a different direction. Take a stand. Sometimes, Dr. Toni, in order to go into another direction, sometimes it takes the boldness to just say no where you kept saying yes. Sometimes it takes the boldness to stand up and close the door to something that should have been closed a long time ago. Sometimes it takes you to stand up for yourself and know your value and your worth and not accept anything less than your value and your worth. Those are some hardcore um lessons that I had to learn to stand up for myself and take my power back. Owning your power is key in this. Not allowing anybody else to take ownership of your power, of your happiness, of your peace. Allowing yourself and only yourself to hold the key to it. Because if they didn't give it, they can't take it away. If you didn't build my peace, you can't come take it away. And if you don't have the keys to my happiness, you can't dictate how my happiness moves, when I'm happy and when I'm not, right? Or my power. So making sure that you own your own happiness. How do you own your own happiness? There are certain processes and steps that you have to go through in order to take back your power, in order to hold your own happiness. But one of the things is learning your self-value, your self-worth, trusting yourself, learning who you are, why you are, and what you are, and making a decision that you're going to walk with your head up, um, guilt-free and shame-free, um, and make decisions that has a best interest for you, making a decision to stand up for yourself every chance you get, saying no when you should say no, saying yes when you should say yes, and not living anything less than what you deserve. Learning who you are will help you a lot with that, because once you learn and love who you are, there's just some things you're not going to put yourself through. There's some things you're just not going to tolerate. It won't fit. If you're walking in power, you're not going to tolerate less than that. You're not going to tolerate disrespect if you're walking in power, because it just won't fit. It will stand out so much. You can't even make excuses for it once you see it, because you're so busy walking in power. Make the decision that you're going to live your life in power. And from this moment on, you're going to make whatever had to hurt, you're going to make it count. You're going to find a benefit. You're going to find every benefit you can, if that means getting to your healing, so that you can then when it finish going around, you don't keep going on that exit. You know how we have beltways, when people keep riding around the beltway, and next thing you know, you done went north, south, east, west on the beltway over and over again because you didn't know where to get off. Your get off point is now. You've been at this mountain long enough. Like, stop going around and round and make a decision to stand up for your power, stand up for your purpose, stand up for yourself. Allow yourself to be completely free, living a meaningful life that is vibrant and full of joy and happiness. We can only talk about it because we have done the work and we were able to see that these things work. These are not words. These are um, the things that we're sharing is coming from our actions. It's coming from our experience, our perspective and perception, but it also coming from the clarity that we get from walking that path and that journey into greatness. You can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers The trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers. All you visionaries who desire to move mountains but need help lifting the heaviness so that you can create a new vision for yourself. Go to my contact us page, put in your information. Let me know how I can uplift you, enlighten you, and encourage you so that you can live a life of fulfillment beyond the break. Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. That was such a fantastic and amazing message. You know, Tichette, when I thought about benefits, attractive thinkers, I want you to write this down in your attractive thinker notebook. Something advantageous or good. It's just that simple. Something advantageous or good. Something to your advantage or something for your good. Those are the benefits. And then when we, as attractive thinkers and visionaries, we capture these advantageous and good things, we maximize them, we multiply them, we put our power on them, and we turn that good into great. We turn that good into great. You know, Tashette, you mentioned, you said you slept, you were sleeping your life away. And I thought about that. And I said to myself, it was because not that you were at the end of your rope, you were at the end of your hope. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we do when we're at the end of our hope. And in order for us to not even um, stay in that place too long, because we all go there, but we don't have to stay there. In order for us not to stay there and maximize the benefits of the journey, um, you might want to ask yourself, well, Dr. Toni and Tichette, why is it important? Why should I even think about maximizing the benefits of my journey so that you can create greatness from it, turn that good into great, so that your perception shifts. You want to maximize the benefits of your journey so that your perception shifts concerning it. And you're not telling a disempowered story, but an empowered story that will help others because you had the bravery and the courage to go through it and come out of it. Why maximize the benefits of your journey? So that you can gain the spiritual aspects of the physical experience. While the physical experience is happening, there are spiritual meanings and discernings that you can acquire along the way while you're going through that so that you can discover truths about yourself. There are some things that I discovered about myself, to shed, that it was absolutely impossible for me to discover had not my heart been broken. So you want to think about that. You want to shatter the standards and live outside the box, like you said, to shed. You want to step out of the standard way of thinking. You want to think like an attractive thinker and a visionary. That's why I encourage you to get your copy of the Attractive Thinker book on Amazon. It is full of tools and strategies and mental healings and supports to give you the clarity that you need on maximizing the benefits of your journey. It's going to help you discover some things that you just wouldn't ordinarily discover had you not had these tools, had you not known what to look for on your journey. Why maximize the benefits of your journey? Because it enables you to speak of the highlights of the empowering part of your journey versus the disempowering part of your journey. It enables you to do that. So when you tell your story, you're not just telling a story that sounds like everybody else's experience. You're telling it in a way that inspires people, encourages people, and motivates them to maximize the benefits of their own journey. So think about that. Think about these tools and strategies. Something you said, to Shet, and I put a star next to it. We bring challenges, issues, or more pain into the moment by thought and perception alone. That's how powerful our thoughts and perception are. We can add more pain to the pain that we're already experiencing. I call it like mental torment and mental anguish unnecessarily, just by um, giving attention to the wrong thought process, just by considering a thought that does not empower you. We don't even have the luxury of entertaining thoughts that make us feel bad, because if you're in a defining moment, you're already vulnerable. You don't need anything else to add more pressure and pain and discomfort to what you're already going through. So it's healthy, it's essential to choose an attractive thinker thought pattern when you're maximizing the benefits of your journey. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at the attractive thinker Guru, where our life's work is always to make your life better. You hear us say, remember, it is not what you're going through, it is how you're viewing it. Think attractively, and we'll see you soon.